flip it over to where Notre Dame is. Obviously, we talked about this in our instant reaction pod. I think there was a very real fear early in the game that it was going to be a little bit like the Alabama national championship game where you feel like you didn't belong on the field. And then there's like these sweeping judgments people are going to have about you or major takeaways. But Notre Dame did belong. There were some moments and some calls. And just, again, we talked about the limitations of their offense and the way that they could score points. The health of Jeremiah Love was a question. Like there were a lot of pieces that came into play in that game. How do you feel about where the Irish are moving forward? And, with Marcus Freeman at the helm, again, he's still only 39. They may be losing at least one coordinator, but what's the state of the Irish?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about them. I felt like that game probably went the way that I would have seen it going, where I felt like Ohio State was a better team with the better roster, but Notre Dame was a team that was going to fight and was never going to go down easy. For Marcus Freeman, I think it is remarkable in just a few years, the way that he's built that program into something that we seriously look at as a contender right now. Of course, there's like you got to make sure that you don't have that one letdown game, but like he's big game ready. And that's apparent to me. I do think it's intriguing what they end up doing. They've got CJ Carr, who's kind of waiting in the wings. I know people have been excited about him. That might open up their offense too, to be able to utilize a guy like Jaden Greathouse, who came on very late in the year. Last two games for him were both phenomenal. Jeremiah Love is back as well. Boubacar Traore is going to be back off of injury. Like they've got some guys to me to where I do think they can start to pick up the pieces and build something that could be very good for next year. Al Golden potentially being out the door, I think, is a huge deal because he is a veteran guy on that coaching staff who's been a head coach, and he wasn't a great one. So he could go and tell Marcus all the things not to do. Hey, Marcus, these are things that got me in trouble when I was a head coach. We shouldn't do this as a program. And he's going to have to find that voice that he can really lean on to help him with those things.
The CJ Carr thing is going to be really interesting because there were rumors swirling about maybe Notre Dame was going to take a transfer quarterback. But Marcus has been really clear. He wants to go with the homegrown quarterback strategy. They've done the 1-year quarterback rentals, but here is them saying, here is our quarterback of the future, and we are going to have him for multiple years, and we're going to see how that all goes. But yeah, it was a phenomenal season for them. And I think because of the fight in the game, the way they came back, you feel differently about Notre Dame, and you can build off of that. The wins against Georgia, the wins against Penn State, the wins over some really, really good football teams. But it will be very interesting to see what happens with the defensive staff and other potential changes. These two teams also now have a portal window. So you could see some departures and some movement in the next couple of days from the two teams in the championship game.